Welcome back to part 2 of lesson 1 of IELTS Academic, where we will review in more details the structure of topic sentences and how this allows us to predict what the rest of the paragraph will be about. This will give you much more predictive power to work with the passage and know exactly where to look for certain kind of information. So let's start with reviewing these typical logical organizations, and for each we will look at a sample example so that you see in practice how it works. So the first one is description. Usually description is organized, there is a certain topic at hand and we want to talk about, to describe it in by different categories. In order to identify factors affecting student motivation, cognitive psychologists ran a major university study in 7 different countries. So the main clause focuses the object on a major university study as a topic of discussion. So we expect the rest of the paragraph to describe this study, and the different categories may include, for example, sample statistics, what was the purpose of the study, specify where it was held, and so on and so forth. So, for example, if a question asks me about the description of the sample, I will probably go into this paragraph to review it in more details for specific information. So the next one is problem solution. Let's look at an example here. Light therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy have been recognized as effective treatment of seasonal affective disorder. So the subject is light therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy, and the object is seasonal affective disorder, right? So have been recognized as treatment. We can see that it's a solution, even the wording suggests that. Therefore, its solution, light therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, to solve a problem, seasonal affective disorder. We expect that the rest of the paragraph will explain how such therapies help in more details. The next one is cause-effect. Cause-effect is a very common one, yet sometimes it's very difficult to recognize, and you should be looking for some verbs that are typical for cause-effect relationship. Let's look at an example. Again, we are here with the seasonal affective disorder, which is a seasonal pattern characterized by depressive mood, is caused by the lack of sunlight. So the verb is caused automatically suggests that we are within this type of logic. Seasonal affective disorder is an effect, it's a phenomenon, and or even a problem, which is caused by the lack of sunlight. Usually in cause-effect type of topic sentences, we expect that the rest of the paragraph will move from the cause, how that cause basically leads to an effect in more details, right? So the next one is compare and contrast, and here the example. Although in many respects education system in Russia has remained unchanged over the past 2 decades, there are noticeable differences. So the main clause is there are noticeable differences, which the paragraph is likely to focus on, as it is emphasized by the author's choice to put it into the main clause. And the dependent clause suggests that there are, in certain respects, it remains the same. So here the author may choose to compare and contrast what has changed and what is still the same, or he may or she may focus on just noticeable changes. So it could be both compare and contrast and description, and but still it gives you enough predictive power to go ahead and then check the rest. The next one is sequence, usually organized step by step. When we describe a process or when we describe the chronology, these are all a sequence kind of logical relationship. The example is effective decision-making process requires one to perform key steps, 7 key steps. So the subject is effective decision making, that's the topic, and we are interested in what are these 7 steps. So we expect that the rest of the paragraph will describe or specify each step in order they occur. So from the first one to the 7th one. And the last one is opinion reason. Usually opinion is something that could be contested, something that you can argue against. From the example, in the 21st century, international education is essential as it provides global perspective and cross-cultural skills. So the opinion here is international education is essential. Well, some people may definitely disagree with this, that there is no need for international education. And well, in this case, we expect that the author will explain that or provide evidence that it indeed provides global perspective and cross-cultural skills. So this is purely an opinion because you may disagree and you may write a paragraph saying that this is not true, and then you will provide your reasons to show that either the evidence used by the author are incorrect or have different reasons to suggest your opinion. So this, we have the first 5 of a descriptive character. There is no opinion. Usually we explain how facts work between each other. Opinion and reason is an argument type of structure with evidences. But these are enough, these typical logical relationships, if you learn to recognize them, you will easily orient yourself in the passage. So let's see now how it works in practice. Here is a sample paragraph, and I'm going to give you some time to read through and find the topic sentence. What is the topic of the discussion, and what are we going to focus on, and how do you expect the passage to be organized based on the logic of the topic sentence. Now you may want to pause the video and do it yourself, and then get back and we'll check that together. Okay, so is your topic sentence the first sentence? That's correct then. So the birth of the computer and its American operating systems gave English a nudge ahead. So I'm gonna postpone the rest of the sentence. The subject is birth of the computer and its American operating system. Gave, so that gave a push. This is the cause, right? And English and nudge ahead is an effect. So it's a cause-effect relationship, and we expect that the rest of the paragraph will explain a bit in more details how that cause, what about the birth of the computer, what about the American operating system that gave English a nudge ahead. So if you read further, you will be able to confirm this actually. So any web-linked household today has a library of information which is in English, right? 4/5 is written in English. So this is the reason why access to the computer and the operating system, which was originally in English, gave the language such a dominating power. Okay, so this is how you do. But in general, when I read this passage on the test, I don't really need to read further because I know what this paragraph will be about, so I can limit my reading to just the first sentence, not to overwhelm myself. Okay, so this was part 2, where we reviewed in more details how topic sentences work and how they suggest the organization of the paragraph. You may follow with some additional tasks to practice, and we will move to part 3.